Hey kids, you know, in my last video I was downtown at Olympic Plaza where the medal ceremony was for the Olympics. I got home and I did a little research and I found out here at the Olympic Oval this weekend they're having a World Cup speed skating contest. So that's what we're going to do today. Stick around folks, it's going to be a good one. So it's Saturday morning about 11:30. The speed skating starts in about a half an hour. So I found a location. I want to be on a corner. So I'm going to be on this corner here. That way I get them as they come around the corner here. I can get them, if I want to do a longer exposure, get some blur in the background and get them sweeping around. Today's all going to be about fast shutter speed, I think, though, because as they come around here, I want to capture the grit and determination on their face. Once I get that dialed in, then we'll go into some blurrier stuff and more artistic stuff. So you're going to be able to use the skills you learned today to go shoot your children's hockey, football, soccer, whatever sport they play, swimming even. All the principles are the same. It's about that exposure triangle, shutter speed, ISO, and aperture. It looks really bright here, but as we speed up that shutter speed, it's not as bright as you think it's going to be. So we might have to underexpose the shot a little bit depending on how fast we need the shutter speed to be. But in Lightroom, I can bump that up again and overgain that because we shoot in RAW. Because this is the big league of speed skating, these corners are going to be super fast, which is a really great opportunity for me. Plus, we get to see some stars today. So I'm fairly close, and that's on purpose because I really want to use my 24-70, which is a 2.8 aperture lens, instead of my 70-200, which I don't have a 2.8 on. So we'll hopefully use the 70-200 as little as possible. The 2.8 I can get more light in, and then I don't have to bump my aperture up as much. But we'll do some test shots here and figure some stuff out. So let's have a look at the back of the camera and get some stuff figured out here. I'm in manual, the big M on top. I'm in my manual mode. My shutter speed, I don't know yet. I'm going to be in 2.8. My ISO will have to bump up, I'm assuming, because I want to have a higher speed. But I'm going to start at 400 just as a kind of a guideline. White balance doesn't matter because I'm going to be shooting in RAW. As for drive mode, I'm going to be in high speed continuous for my drive mode. And lastly, right here is where I want to be. And I want to be in my AI servo. On Canon, it's called AI servo. So as long as I'm holding the shutter button down, my focus will be locked in on that target. So as they come around the corner, I'll lock in my focus on that AI servo. Boom! I've got them locked in and focused. As an example, right now, at 2.8, 400, I can be at 400th of a second. So with my ISO bumped up to 800, I can then increase my shutter speed up to 12/50th of a second. That's pretty fast. It might be a little underexposed then, but like I said in the intro, I can bump that up in post-production. I think first up is the women's 1200 meter, which is awesome because they're just beasts and they'll blast through here. Like I said in the intro, we'll go fast first. Once we get that dialed in, then we'll try doing some longer exposure stuff to get some really cool blurred background and practice our tracking event. Like I said, it looks really bright in here, but you'll find out, especially at hockey arenas, that hockey arenas are very dark when you start adding high-speed shutter stuff. So don't forget, increase that ISO and underexpose just a little bit. You can pull that up in your post-production in Lightroom if you shoot in RAW. So I was wrong. It's actually a 1500 meter race. They're just going to come around the corner here now. 12/50th of a second, 2.8, 800. Here we go. Gonna focus in on the Canadian, of course. Here we go. So I'm seeing those, and I think I might switch lenses to that 70-200, just because I don't think they're filling the frame that much. I really want to fill the frame.
29.2, 29.5.
Yes, I'm going to switch lenses. My 200 isn't a 2.8 lens today, so the lowest I can go in aperture is an f4. So it means I've got to slow down my shutter speed to 1/1000th of a second. F4, ISO 800, doing that tracking thing, they whip through this corner really fast. So here we go. As I come down the bend here, that's where I'm going to lock in on my focus on the lead skater. There she is locked in. And pop away.
25.3, 26.6 for toss. So Brittany Bowe with the fastest opening split yet.
Not bad. So now let's try slowing down our shutter speed, and we'll show you the difference. Let's go to 125th of a second. We'll do a pan, we'll get the background blurry on it. Here she comes.
Brittany Bowe continues to lead. 800 meters to go, 27.5 for split time. 9.8 for top.
So remember at the beginning of the video when I said I was going to use a zone focus mode? I'm going to go on point focus and focus in on her face, top, and pan. Then we get her face in focus and everything else in the background gets blurred out. Creates a really cool dynamic shot. Those are the two techniques, a slow shutter speed and a fast shutter speed. 1/25th because they're coming around pretty quick. Creates a nice blur. I don't want to blow out the highlights on the ice because there's a great reflection there, but it's super bright, so it can blow it out. Don't want to do that, so 1/25th, f4, 800 creates a nice blur for motion. Do single point focus on the skater's face, and then when I go to the fast shutter speed, what was that, 1/1000th, f4, 800? So big difference, 1/1000th to 1/125th of a second. It's a big difference in time, but it shows you how fast they are and how quickly the shutter speed has to be in order to freeze that action. Because you want to freeze that action, these lights may look bright, but they're actually not that bright. That's why I have to bump that ISO up to 800 instead of 100, which is where I normally want to shoot. Next race is about to begin. There's a Canadian on the outside lane. That means, yay, Canada. So the Canadian on the outside lane. We're gonna catch her as she comes past here. We'll do the slower shutter speed on this one. Get that nice background blur.
Weidman though has a strong finish.
There she is locked in on focus right on her face. And as she comes around and pans. Let's see what those look like.
Weidman's looking.
I missed it completely. Let's try again.
Yeah, continues to lead. Weidman's gaining ground though. 28.6 for Hosiek. 9.3 for Weidman.
Nailed it. Let's do some fast shutter speed again.
500 to go. Hosiek continues to lead the way. Weidman's gaining ground. 1 lap remaining. 31 lap for lap time. Weidman 29.8.
What's amazing is at one of these World Cup skating events is I can get super close to the action. I am a running track away. I'm front row, running track away. There's nobody around me, so I feel comfortable talking to a camera. I'm right here, so I can get super tight, close imagery, get the skaters filling the frame. I can go horizontal, I can go vertical. It's gonna be awesome.
And they're
And again, I'll trap them as they come down the straightaway here into the corner, half pushing on that focus button to make sure my focus is locked in on the skater that I want. In this case, it's a Canadian, so we gotta nail the Canadian.
Here that time again today.
There she is, I've got her in focus. And that's all there is to it, guys. We're just gonna sit here and practice our panning and tracking. So when you're watching your kids play whatever sport they play, you'll be able to get it. There we go. So I slowed my shutter speed down just a little bit instead of 1/1000th of a second. Well, that's hard for me to say, 1/1000th of a second. I'm at 800th of a second, f4, 800.
Goes on a strong race.
Here we go. We get that lead skater.
27.6 for lead. Leads Slowly gaining ground.
There we go. That's nice. Panning is really kind of a tricky thing. You've got to match your speed with their speed as they come around that bend. It only works when they're going horizontal, coming at you. Panning doesn't work because you're not panning at all. But when you match your speed to their speed and you lock in focus, whatever the focus is locked in on, that stays in your focal range. And it just means everything else becomes blurry. Creates a nice, tasty shot. So for this race, all I'm going to do is work on that slow shutter speed panning technique. I really want to get my practice skills built up for that. And what a great event to try it at. Locked in.
9-4 for Canada.
And when it all comes together, you get magic. Crystal clear focus on their face, blur for the background. Speed skating is all about speed. Obviously, it's in the name. And that blurry motion in the background creates that speed in the image. These are my favorite shots of the day. Gotta represent Canada. And on the way out, I took some shots from way above as the men started to compete.
So guys, that's all there is to it. Play with your shutter speed, match your panning speed with your subject speed to get that slow exposure background blur effect. But if you're going a fast shutter speed, just make sure you lock your focus in, press that button halfway down to get your focus locked in, pop the shot, you got it. In the meantime and in between time, stay healthy, stay safe. I'll catch you next time, guys.
And as always, guys, please rock the subscribe button and ring the bells for notifications. We'll check in next time.